I'm reclined fixing some work trousers.
You wearing them at the same time?
Yeah, is that why you're reclined? Take the strain off them a bit?
Legs up in the air.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday afternoon in December here on the south coast of the... In fact, it's not fine. It's fucking grim outside.
It is winter.
We're in the comfort of...
Right, wintry.
Yeah, we're in the comfort of the Great Hall, though, Jay. And the man has returned. He had a day off on Thursday. Not that you really know about that, because I also had a day off on Thursday and Friday and Wednesday. So you didn't know he was really gone, apart from the fact that there was no content at all. But Joe has returned.
Yeah.
How was your day off with the in-laws?
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah. Christmas shit, innit?
Yeah.
Do anything special, Joe?
No, just went walking around shopping in Yeovil.
Okay. I've not been to Yeovil for a very long time.
It's a bit shit.
Is it?
It's so shit.
I was expecting more
They've
than that.
spent millions of pounds renovating part of the high street because it's a big Y, so it's like it feeds like that and then up the high street. And this bit here is okay. They've spent millions renovating this area only for it just to become empty and derelict all around all the new fancy stuff. And the high street that goes further up that way is just also becoming empty and derelict.
Right.
But they've still got some good shops there.
Okay.
But they're few and far between. There's like a place called Elephant Moon, which is like for your hippie mums. Sells like soap and dungarees and handbags and stuff.
Luce would love it.
There's like a nice kind of Greasy Spoon cafe. A couple nerd shops. Which you call there's Nerd Shop in Yeovil, which is incredible.
Oh, it's getting better now. Let's slowly. This is what happens with Joe.
It's incredible.
When you first ask him about anything, it's shit, and then slowly but surely it's like, and actually this thing was really good, and this thing was
right because they're god awful at advertising their business. Right, that shop is filled with loads and loads of like real hidden gems of warhammers. Right,
treasures.
They've got the Christmas box sets there. Ooh. They've got a copy of Dark Water, which is obviously sold out everywhere. It's got Curse City in there. It's got like start collecting boxes in there. It's got Christmas boxes from last year. It's got dice that you can't buy anymore because they don't advertise their business online. Like it's just got all this great stock in it that no one's really bought. So if you want some cool hidden gems, go there. They got Primark, of course, and a CEX, and then loads of coffee shops.
Sounds great.
And a big test.
The high street's just kind of turning into coffee shops now, isn't it, essentially?
Coffee shops, Turkish barbers.
Yeah.
The charity shops.
That do very well financially despite always being empty.
Yeah. And like the problem is like charity shops tend to be representative of the area that you're in, right? So like I saw my mum the Saturday before, and we went to Glastonbury.
Oh,
and their charity shops are right fancy. But you go to the Yeovil ones, and they're like grim.
Yeah. Grim. Someone definitely died in that.
Yeah. Lots of vape shops, stuff like that. It's not the best. But I had McDonald's for lunch. That was nice.
Did you? Yeah. All the way to Yeovil, and off you went from McDonald's.
They've changed. I had a little bit of a Mac complaint. They've changed the Big Tasty. It's just a Big Mac now. It's just slightly more. It's just a Big Mac with a different sauce. It's not big anymore.
I am one of those fucking heretics who doesn't ever buy anything beef from McDonald's anyway. Chicken selects, mate. That's what I have.
But their Grinch fries are really nice. It's basically... the salt and shake crisps?
Yeah.
You could do that, but with like a Grinch powder. It's just gherkin. Just gherkin powder. It just makes the chips taste like gherkin. Have you had the Domino's burger flavoured pizza?
No, but yes, I have.
Yeah.
But
James has them, right?
James has it every time.
Right?
My eldest.
Just tastes like gherkin.
Yeah.
That's just
essentially just tastes like gherkin.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking like gherkins. Well, that's a lie. No, it's not a lie. I don't like them. I can eat them. I'll eat a gherkin, but I would never choose to. Is the problem. There you go. So that was where Joe was on Thursday. Yeah. Then on Friday, Joe went up to Warhammer World.
Yeah.
Again.
For
a team tournament without me.
I know. I mean, you said you didn't want to go in the first place. So.
That's true. It is true. Yeah.
Because we had a 4-man team. There was 2 4-man teams already lined up to go, and then 1 4-man team became a 3-man because you were like, nah. And then basically, when we went to go and buy the tickets, they were sold out.
Yeah.
But another 4-man team, which was Dan, who's been here, Adam, who's been here, and Simon, Adam's brother.
Yeah,
they didn't have a 4th man.
No.
So I just sidestepped into that. I was like, "Hello, hey there."
The thing is, because of the way that Hobby House is going, I looking at the dates. I was like, it's never going to work. And then actually, I'm glad I didn't say yes to going because of how fucking incredibly unwell I was over the course of the weekend. So, but Joe did a team tournament, and whilst he was up there having the team tournament, there was also some discussion. And we've had some discussion today about funner ways is not great English. More fun ways of playing Warhammer. And there's a thing I'm contemplating doing for the new year, for the 6-month run-in to the new edition, to kind of keep it fun and interesting and spice it up a little bit. Some of you have been asking for it quite a lot. Some of you, I'm not sure if you care about it at all, but it's the thing that we put in the title. So I'm thinking about how do we have fun in this edition now until the new one.
Well, obviously, like we've had a bit of a push on like narrative games. Like, obviously, we know that there is a narrative coming.
Yeah.
In the 500 Worlds, we don't know. They said that there's like a little mission, but we don't know what's in that. But obviously, if that's got fun missions in it, we might as well like play those. Right?
Yeah.
So we might as well. So like, well, how do we have stuff to keep it all going? Because like, when we play games on here, it's all just match play.
Currently, it is. Yeah. Are you tired of it, chat?
Yeah. And basically, so like, the question is do you play asymmetric warfare at home? Do you enjoy playing it? Do you want us to see it? Would you watch more of us?
Well, I've been looking at it leading up to the new year, and I was like, one of 2 directions we potentially could go in the new year is asymmetric or Crusade, and the Crusade admin just doesn't appeal to me. I'm not excited.
The problem with Crusade is you need to have consistent people playing, which we do have. Right, we have me, you, and Tom.
Yeah,
and then Paddy slips in and out sometimes.
He's the most consistent after Tom. Yeah,
yeah, and then obviously I'm sure if we asked Toby, he'd get involved as well, right?
Oh, he probably would if he. Yeah.
So let's assume there's 5 of us doing it. The problem is that we are locked in to 5 armies for months.
Yeah.
You won't see any other variety. So asymmetric warfare is the way to go. And,
possibly, yeah. And I think I need to see how much work it would be for me to make the missions and and what have you in the scoreboards. I think it's like an afternoon's work.
Yeah.
And it's about whether it's worth that afternoon's work or not.
Yeah. So we'll talk about a tournament and then we'll talk about asymmetric. So if you do have any ideas for asymmetric stuff, put them in a postcard.
Yeah, stick it on Super Chats. Obviously, I was off sick for the half of last week, and I'm very far behind now. And it's Christmas, so there's going to be more streams missed because you don't want a Liam and Joe show on Christmas Day. You actually, it's a lie. You probably do want a Liam and Joe show on Christmas Day, but you're not going to get one because I'll be at home, and so will Joe, and I'll be eating my goose with my family. And so the other thing we'd love for you to do, if you want to support the channel, if you really love what we do and you want to keep it free for everybody else at the same time, membership gifting is the biggest and best way of doing that. If you're a grey name, you can become a member of the channel. Gets you benefits. There's lots of different tiers that give you lots of different benefits. So come and join us. Just for as little as $4.99 a month, you can get in Discord, become a Skull Team member, get access to some discount codes. If you go to $8.99 a month, you could be part of a monthly giveaway. The giveaway is currently active for all Jarl tier members and above. If you are a Jarl tier member at $8.99 or higher, just go in Discord and you can enter for free. It's free to enter just because that's your membership level, and you could win a £100 voucher for either your local gaming store or Games Workshop, because we say that because then we can do it for any country, right? And membership gifting is supremely important. We always have a target. It's always 100 every show. If there's 173 people watching and all of you gift one, quick maths would tell you we'd get to the target.
4.
And that'd be amazing. So Joe went to a team tournament this week, and
Yeah.
more importantly, not only did he go to a team tournament, but he went to a team tournament at Warhammer World, which is something that I was sad I said no to because I'd really like to do that.
I went with Tom. Obviously, it was Tom's first time as well to Warhammer World.
Was
and
it?
An event at Warhammer
Was
World.
it his first time up
So
there?
he got double trouble, you know.
Double whammy,
yeah. We both left at about 5:45 in the morning to get there because I wanted to get there for He got there a bit later. I think he left later, but I left at like 5:45 in the morning because when you drive from the south coast where I am, in Dorset up, it takes about 3.5 hours if you don't stop. So for me, it's like 4.
Yeah.
But there's a part of the country called Oxford, right? This is the A34, which once it gets to about 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, it turns into hell on earth, right? Because people, when you're driving along, just like emergency brake for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Why not? Stop for the sake of it.
It's awful. Or you're just driving along and there's just flat standstill. Like no one's moving, no one's going anywhere. So I'd rather leave earlier and have no bad traffic than leave and get stuck in traffic and my journey be longer, or wait until like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, right? And then drive up and then just drive a normal daytime traffic, which is a bit iffy on a Friday. So I'm always like, leave super early, have a nice drive, have breakfast, be there all day.
Yeah.
So got there.
Makes sense.
Tom eventually turned up like 40 minutes after me. And then we had some breakfast, which was really nice.
Breakfast.
And then we did the Hall of Miniatures.
Oh, yeah, we've never seen that.
He's not seen the Hall of Miniatures.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you prefer going through it with a person who's never seen it before?
Yes, but Tom was a terrible person to go through it with.
Why?
Because not Tom's. I don't get the feeling that Tom gives a shit about the quality of someone else's painting, or like he's not impressed by stuff like I am because he's not been in it as long.
Yeah.
I'm like looking and I'm like, oh, they look at this like this bone giant from Tomb Kings painted from many years ago. I'm like look at every single thing, and he's just like speed look done.
Yeah.
Done.
Or like I'm like look at the nostalgia of this
Blitz
thing.
through Age of Sigmar. I couldn't give less of a shit, you know.
Really worth the ticket.
He spent
price.
more time looking at the 2 Lord of the Rings displays than he did the entire Old World and Age of Sigmar sections combined.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
The
Age of Sigmar. Some of the Age of Sigmar dioramas are fucking quality.
It's really good. So then, but then like we did the 40k one, which he really liked. He did the massive display, like he really liked that one. And then we had a fun game on one of the fancy tables in the hall. Because when I'm going to gripe about Games Workshop here. That happens rarely. The Warhammer World table booking system is quite possibly one of the shittest things on this planet.
Interesting. Why?
Right? Because you have to book in advance. Because Warhammer World, it's an important place, you know? It's a place you want to go.
Mecca.
Right? It's Mecca. Right? So when you book a table, bearing in mind that on like a Friday, that place is open 10 till like 10. Right? 10 till 8, 10 till 10. Right? When you book a table, you just book one table for the entire day. So if you're not planning to get there until you finish, until 6:30 because you finish work at like 5:30, no one's using that table for like 7 hours, right? So people book, it gets super booked up in advance. So when I phoned them, they're like, the only table we have available is a fancy 6x4 city board. And I was like, great, it's Tom's first time. It's part of the experience, we'll play on that, right? Got there, all the tables were empty. No one was there for like opening. And it slowly filled up, but like even by like lunchtime, only half the tables are being used. None of the other fancy display tables, like gaming tables you play on, had anyone playing on them. And then like 20 of the tables, all the maps were being flipped so that you could have the black side because they were having a spearhead event in the evening. So they're like, we're doing an event at 5 o'clock tonight, so you can't use any of these tables all day.
Nice.
It's just like just let people play them until like a couple of hours before, and then just move them.
Yeah.
You know. Luckily, I managed.
Flipping a mat is not that difficult.
Yeah,
is it?
and I went and had a little chat with the events team that run the hall, and I was like, "How many tables are you actually using? Can we like use 2 of them?" Because then Adam and Simon arrived. We thought we have to have some practice game before the event, just because like Adam's played maybe 10 games all year.
Yeah, most of them are on the channel, aren't they?
Yeah. So we're like, fine, we'll go play it. So, and then obviously we couldn't use tournament terrain, so we had to use like the Warhammer World. So like the table booking system in Warhammer World needs to get sorted.
Yeah.
Right? You split the day in 2 and just go, you book it for the morning or the afternoon or all day.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you don't arrive and use the table in the morning, then obviously it's wasted. They don't charge for the table, so you can't really punish that person. But it's like if you know you're only going to be there for the afternoon, you only book the table for the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff to do at Warhammer World that you can go in, smash your games in the morning, and then pack your stuff away, and then do the Hall of Miniatures, then do fucking like the shop and Bugman's. Yeah, just gripe over. It really bugged me. And then in the evening, we went for Cheeky Nando's.
Oh, I love a Cheeky Nando's.
It was really, really good. Although they put us in like this really small booth where like the table was so tight that like my belly was like
pressed against
it. And then we went back to the hotel.
Not too much chicken for you, fatty.
And then we went back to the hotel and played Jenga.
All right. Naked?
No.
Oh.
No, had some beers. Had like a relatively tame evening.
Jenga played Jenga and had beers.
Yeah, because like we were like there's like board games in the hotel. We were in the Holiday Inn, so it's a nice hotel.
Yeah.
Got a free room upgrade.
Did you?
Yeah, it was basically like every other room in the hotel, but the wood was like a darker stain.
Right. Okay.
And it comes.
That one had 2 coats.
And the fridge has a can of water in it and a Mars bar.
Yeah.
And that was
12 quid each.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to Warhammer World now.
I love Warhammer World.
Should we just chin the day off and go to Warhammer World?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Warhammer World. It's like one of my. It's not great when you're poor at Christmas.
I haven't been since the last time when you organised the day up there. It's the last time I've been up to Warhammer World.
I think like the perfect Warhammer World for me is if I went up there with like £1,000 spending money.
Yeah.
Just without a care in the world.
That's a video, isn't it?
Yeah.
We gave Joe £1,000 to only spend at Warhammer World.
Do a nice tournament weekend. So go up on the Friday, do a tournament. Like I've never done like a carefree Warhammer World trip. Just be like, if I see something, buy it.
That's a video.
I bought some coins from a.
They're actually the shame of it is there isn't a video in it because they won't let you film inside Warhammer World.
You could get permission.
I've been told off before.
Really?
Filming inside Warhammer World, yeah. Yeah.
If there was no children there.
We were doing I did a video years and years ago when the channel was really, really young. And we followed my friend Martin's progress through Golden Demon through the day. So went up to his house, took photos and videos of his miniatures, went up to the Warhammer World, through the whole entering process and then the cuts and all that kind of stuff because I thought it was interesting. And between each like part, we went the first time I went down to the foyer where the stairs are. You know, where the giant statues at the moment. I had his back against the window and I set up a little camera on a tripod so I could talk to him and they got really shitty. And I was like, you can't tell that you're inside the building, but it's raining outside. Yeah. They're like, no, not in here. I was like, I'm literally like, the backdrop is nothing. That you can't tell we're inside Warhammer World. No. So to go outside and then stand like where the bike shed is under the fucking bridge to be dry. And then they wouldn't let me film it. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I imagine you.
A lot less of them at Warhammer World knew me than they do now. So
yeah, I think like you should be alright to do it now. I don't see a problem with it.
I'd have to ask them.
Loads of people are always taking photos. You should pretend you're taking photos.
Yeah. Good you anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, no, it was great. Like the tournament was really, really good. It was a team tournament. There was 20 teams of 4.
Okay, it's quite a lot.
So it was quite a lot. The pairing system that Warhammer World uses is super weird. because most team tournaments, when you do a pairings, you get put into another team, and then what happens is one team puts down a defender, right? And then the attacking team puts down 2 attackers, and the defender gets to pick one of those people to play against. And then you pull back, and then you do it again, but the other team goes, right? And you just do that, you alternate. The system of Warhammer World is very different. Once we figured out how it worked by the end of 3 games, like we're like, oh, okay, we get it a bit better now. So what happens is that you have one person goes down with the defender. You both teams put down a defender blind.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Together at the same time, and then you flip them.
So do you know who you've put in as your defender?
As a defender, you know your team who you've put in. So you pick someone to be a defender.
So you might have picked Tom.
Tom goes in.
Picked him, but they don't know that it's Tom at this point.
Him, and then you both flip it. Right, at the same time. So they go, oh, Tom's got World Eaters and Jeff's got Custodes. Right? And then, as a team, the remaining 3 of you have to decide who have to be the attackers, right? And the only real question you have is who doesn't want to play against Custodes? Because so I'd go, as Emperor Children, I don't want to play against Custodes. So you go, okay, we'll put Adam with Custodes and Simon with Votan in. And then they'll put 2 people in from their side. And then what happens is that the defender then picks a person to
I'd rather
against.
play Votan.
Yeah.
Right.
So their person be like, with their Custodes, go, I don't want to play Custodes, I want to play the Votan. And then Tom gets to pick out of 2 of their people. Right. And then what happens is after you got that, you've got 2 people spare on the side. This 4-man team, right? They're what I like to call the sloppy seconds. The sloppies basically get paired into the remaining attacker. So obviously there's 2 attackers. So Tom would pick one, and then that person gets paired into the sloppy, right? So then there becomes a conversation. So Tom goes, they've put in Eldar and Tyranids. So it'd be a conversation between me and Tom would be like, do you want to play into Eldar or Tyranids? Because then if I pick one, you get the other one, kind of thing. And it's a kind of conversation.
It's like a mini game.
Yeah, it's like a mini game in itself.
Okay.
It's different. I don't mind it. So once we'd figured it out, it was all right. You know, the people that don't really get much of a choice are the 2 people that get put in. It becomes a case of the 2 attackers goes, who doesn't mind playing Custodes? And then the other person, fuck knows.
Seems fun.
Yeah, it's a fun system. So you have a bit of control, but not a huge amount. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to I've been to a couple of teams tournaments, and there was one team tournament I went to where it was the best because the pairing off against each other was a whole mini game in itself, and it was done in such a like well-spirited way, whereby you would every time you were playing a game, you would pack your models away as fast as possible and keep them as hidden as fuck. So when you got to the next round, you had all your secret lists here, and it was a case of there was like a roll off or a flip to see who would sacrifice first, and then you'd pick it up, and no one knew what each other's armies were, and it was all kept super secretive. And I loved it. And I thought it was great. It was really like it kept the whole pairing part of the tournament was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, because
it was like who would get who, and I don't know. I think they might have a Knights player. So we need to not play our Knights card now, just in case, and etc. Right, great. I then went to another one a year later, maybe 2 years later, and we started doing the same thing again. I think it was mostly with the same people. And by round 2, the other team was like, "Oh, you've got to tell us what all your armies are." We haven't. Yes, you have. I was like, "No, just fucking."
So there were some people that were taking it very, very serious.
You've got to show us what your armies are. We need to know what it is. And then people got getting laptops out and shit. I was like, "Fucking team tournament, dickhead!"
So
Jesus.
We were like, some people turned up with like mats, with cards with like who they are to put them into the right slot, kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh play mat kind of thing. And then there were some people that had bits of paper and or laptops with like a matrix on who can play who pairs well into what. We didn't take any cards. We forgot. We just found some objective markers and wrote our name on them. I put them in. But like a lot of people didn't care. You know?
Yeah, I just when people were like, no, you have to sell it, and it got to the point where I was like, no, it's just secret. You'll find out. And then in the end, they went to the TO to make us show them all of our lists, and I was like, this is part like the pairing part is part of the fun of a team tournament. You're stripping the fun out of that part.
I think like I don't mind. So what normally happened was that when the pairings went up, all the teams kind of sat huddled in their groups to look at who they were paired into next, to have a look at lists, and then they can go. That into that. Because what's interesting about teams is that you end up with slightly more skewed, random, crazy lists.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard counters
to a lot of things. Like so, which I quite like because it means you kind of play in something different. I took a very normal, what you'd call a normal Emperor's Children list.
Noise Marines and Demon Princes.
And there's some chaff, right? And then I said at the end of it, at the end of the tournament, I was like, all of my pairings, I would have done so much better if I took 18 Flawless Blades. Because Emperor's Children have nothing above strength 10.
Yeah.
Right? It's all strength 5. Well, no, not really. It's strength 4 infantry. So okay characters and some strength 8 Demon Princes. And then some strength 5 shooting and like 2 strength 5 guns, right? So you're really good into infantry armies, really. Day 1, I played Chaos Knights, Tyranid Monster Mash, Greater Demon list.
Yeah, so that you got fucked on the pairings.
So my pairings were awful every time. I only won one game versus the Tyranids.
Who was your team captain, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sacrificed you constantly.
Yeah, but me and Tom took a bit more control on day 2.
Yeah,
which I'll tell you in a minute. So the Knights player, I lost, but it was a really fun game. I could kill the baby Knights, couldn't touch the big Knights. Game 2 was the Diggy Tyranids, which was the best matchup for me to take in our team because no one in my team knew how to play against Tyranids really or played with Tyranids. So just spread out so you couldn't really deploy anywhere. And then game 3 was Demon Monster Mash. And it was the Zinch bullshit detachment. The infinite rerolls, basically.
I love that detachment, though.
It's great and it was a really fun game. But when you ultimately end up with Greater Demons with infinite rerolls.
On 4+.
On 4+, you can't kill them.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Not with Emperor's Children, at least.
Not with Emperor's Children. For day 2, I had a good day with some fun lessons after we'd figured out how the pairings system actually worked.
Yeah.
And it worked out terrible for me.
Because?
In another sense. Game 1, which I did win, was 12 Victrix Honor Guards.
But you did say that you wanted to play against infantry.
Yeah. That I couldn't really hurt. I won that game through mortal wound spam, basically.
Right. You still won it, though.
I still won it. And then game 5 was 18 Victrix Guard. And I killed 7 of them. And I got tabled. So that was awful.
Was it 18 Victrix Guard or was it 20 strictly?
Strictly 20.
Yeah, I thought so.
Right. And we'll talk about this in a minute, but Victrix Honor Guard are a problem. But yeah, so afterwards, we came 6th in total.
Okay, that's good.
Which was good. Like we won as a team. We went 3-2.
Okay.
So
did you say how many teams? You said it was 20?
20 teams.
20 teams.
So, but we lost to the team that came first and second.
Yeah.
So,
how can one team come first and second?
No, because we went 3-2. So yeah, the 2 teams we lost to are literally
the top 2 teams.
The top 2 teams.
Yeah.
Tom had an awful game round 3 into 18 Victrix Guard. I've never seen him look so miserable.
He never normally looks that cheerful.
He doesn't look that cheerful normally. He looks happy when he's smashing my Mac doors in.
Yeah, of course.
He's having a great time there.
So his chat.
But he just looked dead inside.
Yeah.
The hardest game. I played through my literally sweat was coming out of my teeth. playing against 12, but 18.
They are a problem, aren't they, right now?
Yeah.
So we talked about this briefly last night, chat, and someone in chat said to me, I don't understand how they're such a problem. And I kind of loosely touched on it, but they are a problem for a multitude of reasons because they're quite cheap at the moment for what they are, and what they can do is insane. And partly what they can do is insane because of who can be attached to them.
Yeah.
And they have every trick that you can think of and that you'd want. They can have access to it, especially in things like Gladius and stuff.
Yeah. So you've got 3 units of infantry, which are 4 wound, toughness 4, 2 up save guys, all with 5 attack, damage 2 power swords, like a blade guard, and they've all got a bolt gun, which is the same as a custodes.
Yeah, AP1 damage 2.
AP1 damage 2.
2 shots at 24.
Yeah, which on the face of it is not a terrible profile.
No, they're all good.
It's a really good profile.
If you think about the Angelus bolt guns that Sangard carry that are strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage.
Yeah. And if you shoot them, they move d6 inches towards you.
They blood surge.
They blood surge towards you, which itself is really good. But then when you draw a character to them, they become -1 to be wounded flat. So if you're strength 4, you're wounding them on 5s, which is a gross, right? Then, we're not like the characters you can join to them. One character you joins to them gives them deep strike, and then Ventress, and then he has a 12-inch aura of -1. Whenever you spend a CP, it costs you an additional CP. Then you've got another character which gives them scout and a free 6-inch move when you move within 9. But all 3 units have access to a stratagem where if you move within 9, they can reactive move. So you've got 2 units then that can reactive move when you move within 9. So if you move within 9, 2 units can move 6 inches, and then if you shoot them, they then move to 6 inches. So they can move a potential 12 inches in your turn into combat with you.
Which would then give them fights first, unless you've got fights first.
All units, 1 unit has infinite access to fallback, shoot, charge, advanced shoot, charge.
Calgar's unit.
But they all have access to that through stratagems and doctrines. And then they have access to reroll all hits with +1 to wound through oath. But 1 unit can also get +1 to wound and +1 AP when in assault doctrine.
And can also pop a banner for extra attacks as well.
Yeah. And and then obviously if you try and fight them in combat, they have access to fight on death. So when you kill them, it's just straight up fight on death. So you don't have to roll, they just do it. And they're AP2 damage 2, but you can give them the +1 to wound lance with +1 AP, so go to AP3. At 15 attacks each, did I mention? 5 attacks each. So that's 30 attacks from just the unit.
Unless it's the upgraded one with the champion, then it's more attacks.
Yeah. And if you have a repulsor nearby and you charge the unit of Victrix Honor Guard, they could just get in their repulsor.
Yeah.
So you can't even charge
them. They now out Eldar.
Yeah. And that's all under the idea that you can actually see them and interact with them.
And that 6-man unit is now going to be a grand total of 240 points.
Yeah. So if you can't see them, it's worse, right? Because if you move near them when you can't see them, they just do whatever they want behind a wall, right? And then you have to try and charge them, and they kill. So the worst situation you end up as an Emperor's Children player, right, is you have shooting and combat. Your units don't have enough output to kill a unit in just shooting, and you don't have enough output to kill them in just combat, right? So your options are stand over 9 inches away and then shoot them, hoping that they blood surge towards you, and then you charge them. But most people have a brain in their skulls, so you shoot that unit, and then it stands there, and then you have to try and gamble a 9-inch charge. And if you don't get that 9-inch charge, you just stood there, arse in the wind.
And then they'll come and fuck you.
Yeah,
dry.
And because in my game versus the 12 Victrix, right? Lucius the Eternal, who's an absolute G, absolute just lad, right? Killed Gilliman twice. Gilliman charged him, and then Lucius went dead, right? And then he stands back up, and then Lucius charges him, kills him, right? So this guy killed a Primarch twice. He runs into Victrix Honor Guard, kills one, and then dies. So the remaining 5 plus character. And you're like, a guy that could kill a Primarch shouldn't be struggling to kill one Honor Guard.
Yeah, fair.
You know? So I think, the problem is I think if you're going to fix Victrix Honor Guard to make them balanced without changing their points, some of you are going to be upset by this, right? You put them to 3 wounds, which I think is fair. Because if you think about it, right, they are a generic Space Marine in fancy armor.
What's a head taker?
3.
What's a Sandguard?
3.
What's a
Terminator? 3.
What's an inner circle companion?
3.
What's a flawless blade?
3.
What's a fucking 8-bound?
3.
Everything's 3 wounds.
Yeah.
What's an honor guard with no shield? 4.
Yeah. A blade guard is 3, and he's just a Space Marine with a shield, right? I think the idea is they went, these are basically company heroes, but company heroes are a unit of 4. They have 4 wounds, right? But they don't have a 2-up armor save, and they don't all have a mini heavy bolter and a power sword.
Right.
Right. But the thing is, though, company heroes are 4, and this is a unit of 6, right? So that's pretty crazy. I think, so you put them to 3 wounds, and then you legends, old Calgar, old Sicarius, Uriel Ventris.
So the Ventris one is questionable, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't understand the Calgar Sicarius stuff at the moment. I don't understand. It's the first time I've ever known them go, here's some brand new models to replace the old models. By the way, we're not going to legends the old ones. You can still take them.
Yeah, because
it doesn't make sense.
It's a weird situation, right?
Because it does make sense, actually, because one of the rules writers was literally playing Ultramarines this weekend.
I think he was doing it as... We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So, when they released New Vulcan, old Vulcan went away.
Right, exactly.
Right? When they released New Strike, old Strike went away, you know? When they released new versions of new models, the old ones go away,
mm-hmm.
right?
As is right.
As is right. So when they released Calgar, you know, he's still in Space Marine 2. I get it. He's kind of a bit popular. Like, you could buy him at the time, but now you can't buy him. So, like, I kind of feel like he should just go into Legends, right? Sicarius, that's a straight swap. Right? He should have just immediately been replaced and an old one gone into Legends or just gone away entirely.
No need for 2 data sheets there at all.
No need for 2 data sheets at all. And then Ventris, my argument is that Uriel Ventris is a Black Library limited edition model from 3 years ago. Right? He's maybe even more. And you can't buy him anymore. You haven't been able to buy him for a couple of years.
Do you know what you could just recently buy?
A limited edition Ultramarine special character from Black Library.
Right, yeah. And what happened with his rules?
Went straight to Legends.
Straight to fucking Legends.
Yeah. So why is this guy still hanging around?
So why is Ventris okay for having actual general match play rules when every other nowadays Black Library characters go straight to Legends? Which I think is cool. By the way, I'm not criticising Black Library characters going straight to Legends. I'm the only part I criticise about that is the fact that you can't have access to those rules in the app, because that would make everyone's life easier. You should just have a selection button at the top that goes Legends on, Legends off, right? Yeah. And if you turn it on, you can then build your list and you can include Captain Thunderhammer Man from the Black Library book. That's my only gripe. Otherwise, the idea that they're going to go, we're going to write a novel about this super fucking cool character. In fact, he's so cool, we're actually going to make a model for him at the same time that you guys can buy and build and paint and play with, so you can recreate your favourite moments from the book. Yeah. But we don't want to muck about with match play. We don't want to muck about with balance too much. So we're going to give you rules for them, but they're going to be Legends rules. I think that's a great idea.
The thing is, though, is like so obviously Priya's gone, but one's Captain Sicarius and one's Cato Sicarius, right? When Captain Titus comes out, does that mean that Lieutenant Titus is still going to be usable?
I don't know.
Is this a president that we're going to be setting, right?
It's weird, isn't it? I think it's mad.
Because by that argument, we should have had, was it Second Company Shrike and then Chapter Master Shrike?
And it's the only time they've done it, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Ultramarines.
So I'm just like,
weird.
Get rid of those 3 characters.
Yeah.
Or change it.
Legends all 3.
So Cato Sicarius and old Calgar can't join Victrix. Right? and then have new. Because what they've done is they've released a Calgar model that nobody gives a fuck about.
I don't know. I love it.
Look, he's a beautiful model, but there's no point running. I haven't seen any lists exist since the release of new Calgar with new Calgar in it. Right? Some people might be running new Calgar model, but he's still got those two little Victric guys hanging around with him. Be like, yeah, he's the same stats, so we should use the sexy new model. Because there was a discussion on Art of War where they were like, you've got two versions of Cato Sicarius, Captain Sicarius, but one model is old and shit, and one model is new and sexy. So which model can you use the new sexy model for both? If you just put him on a smaller base.
Yeah, the base size is the problem.
Because it's just the base size that matters.
Yeah.
I just think get rid of the 3 characters, drop them to 3. Someone was like, I can't believe they've got the same wounds as a Terminator. I was like, no, have the same wounds as a Terminator
with a Storm Shield. The Terminator with the Storm Shield just benefits from a 4-up invuln, which they don't have. At least they don't have an invuln. But they do have access to Armor of Contempt, which for most part would put them on a 4-up save, which is like having an invuln anyway.
Yeah, so you have to... So if it's AP3 and you Armor of Contempt, they still have a 4-up save. So if it's AP4, they still get a 5-up save with Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
So you have to be AP5 to stop them from getting a save at all.
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
and the lead thing is quite interesting as well because like Flawless Blades, like you can only be led by Lucius because you're elite infantry with blades. Victrix on a guard, the most elite of the Ultramarines, you can be led by whoever the fuck you want. Any captain or chapter master, go.
Well, actually, that's a lie, right? Because Games Workshop in their infinite wisdom, instead of changing the rules for characters, they've released a bunch of they've released 6 detachments that allow characters that should have been able to join units to join the units, but only in those detachments. Because the Night Lord's detachment is the only detachment a Lord with jump back can join Warp Talons. The Emperor's Children one is the only detachment that allows a Lord to join Flawless Blades.
My lord.
The Guard detachment is the only detachment you can have that allows a Commissar to join Ogrins, which is incredibly narrative.
But did you enjoy your team tournament ultimately?
But ultimately, apart from the problem child of Victrix, it was a really good. I've never had a bad tournament at Warhammer World.
No.
Sometimes you might have a bad matchup, like where the game's just hard. But even in the hard games, right, I still had fun. Like the games I lost, I still had a great time. Played into the guy. Like my 5th game was versus 18 Victrix Guard. We still had a good time. We still had a laugh. We still discussed everything that was going on in the game and movements and options. And I was like, if you do this, I'm going to do this kind of thing. We were doing that. We sort of get tired. He was like, this army is so dumb. He's like, it makes me a little bit sick in my mouth. But it's like, ultimately, you're at a team tournament. You got to have your heavy hitters. You know?
Yeah.
You've got to do your skew lists. And 18 Victrix Guard is a weird skew list, but also great.
Yeah, it's just good, right? So, and Joe's come home list crafting how to beat it.
So basically, with Beach, you got Beachhead practice next month, 10th, 11th. There are tickets still available if you want to come. It's at Entoyment. Basically, the Beachhead warm up tournament is the event where they raise money for the TOs to be able to stay in Bournemouth. So if it doesn't go well, they're sleeping on a park bench, I imagine, which is exciting.
Well, I'd like to go, but that weekend is probably the weekend we open here.
Yeah. So just send the money
in an envelope
to Adam.
Oh.
And then come here, I guess, and spend more money here. Or buy the stuff in advance from here and then come to the tournament.
We've got less space here.
Yeah.
So
basically, if Victrix on a guard don't get fixed before Beachhead, I have a list. I saw Pridder's taking the piss, but he is ultimately true. I have been building Centurions today.
He actually has.
Yeah.
He doesn't look happy.
No, but I might be taking Raven. If basically, this is a break glass in case of Victrix, right? If Victrix aren't fixed by Beachhead, it's Raven Guard with 30 Stern Guard. Because Victrix have no mortal wound protection. So I'm just going to mortal wound them to death, whilst I die and get punched in the face. But if not, it'll be Emperor. If they are fixed, I'll probably take Emperor's Children.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Because...
That being said, Emperor's Children with 18 Flawless Blades in itself is possibly a bit of a counter to Victrix Guard.
Yes. So at the end, I was like, if I take in 18 Flawless Blades, obviously you can't take the new detachment because we were running old rules. So those Victrix Honor Guard armies were 40 points cheaper than what they should have been. Not a fix, by the way. 40 points is not enough. 40 points over 3 units is wild, by the way. Anyway, I'd have to take. I would have taken Peerless Bladesmen, which gives them sustained or lethals on the charge. But in that detachment, there is a stratagem to give you +1 AP.
Yeah.
Which then you've got Flawless Blades who hit on 2s, wound on 3s, flat, don't suffer the -1 to wound, and then are AP 4.
Becomes a real kicker, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, so if you hit one Victrix on a guard unit with that, they'll probably armor contempt it, go from a 6-up save down to a 5-up save. Right? And then you go, do I +1 AP or I don't know the stacking system. But then you hit another unit at the same time, then it's a bit of a problem. They've got to make a decision. And then it gets quite CP expensive then as well.
It does, yeah.
I think you could hit all 3 of them, because then you go, do you Armor of Contempt, Interrupt, or Fight on Death? And I think Flawless Blades can really, really, really hurt them. Or Flawless Blades in the footprints gives them +1 AP on top of that, puts them to AP 5 with the +1 AP.
Yeah.
Victrix gets no save.
No save.
I'm going to be running the new Emperor's Children detachment on Thursday.
For your birthday stream?
On my birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Emperor's Children on Joe's birthday?
Yeah. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Night Lords.
The new one?
The new Night Lords attachment.
Beautiful.
I don't know if it's a very good army list.
I've seen it out there. I don't know what's in it.
If I had Noise Marines in the list, it's probably a little bit better. But I feel like I'm a bit Noise Marined out.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of Noise Marines.
Yeah.
This weekend, wasn't there? 18.
18. I'd still be taking 12 in this list. Plus their basing's different. I need to get like 6 Noise Marines that I can paint like black in like Legion colours and then base them to the same as my Chaos Space Marine army.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right, chat. I don't know what's going on today, but apparently we're not very entertaining right now, Jay.
Oh.
We're sat with 230 people watching and just 13 of the finest new members so far.
Thanks to me. I need to go for a wee.
Well, hopefully by the time you get back, then we'll be on 100.
Yeah, and then
everyone can just give 5.
And then we'll talk about asymmetric warfare.
Yeah, if everyone just gives 5 right now, smash that in, get it sorted, so I can relax a bit, and then we'll talk about asymmetric warfare, because what I'm looking at in the next 6 months, essentially, is what I assume 6 months, by the way, is a run-up to 11th edition, and I don't know exactly when it's coming. We have no definitive data as to whether it's May, June, July. We only have history to go on. And I'd imagine it'll be around that kind of period of time, right? So, we looking at ways in which we can kind of be interesting and fun and a bit different going forward and just have a laugh and continue the Garage Hammer vibe, because I think we're all a little fatigued with match play 40k right now in general. And I think the Balanced Data Slate almost shows, to me personally, the Balanced Data Slate almost shows that Games Workshop's a little bit fatigued with it as well right now. They're kind of like... So I think that finding ways to make it fun and interesting is the way to go. I've started a super chat goal. You don't have to, but if you want to get involved in that, it's $5 or more to get involved with that goal. And all I'm asking you to do is tell me what you'd like to see on stream in the next 6 months. There's no promises, obviously, but if you show us and tell us, it might be something we go, oh, that's not a bad idea. We can do that. We've got a couple of things planned, a couple of things we can do that I think are going to be fun and interesting, but I also don't want to make and plan a thing that's fun. I think it's fun and interesting, only for you lot to turn around and be like, this is really shit, Liam. What are you doing? Right? So, asymmetric is one of those things where I feel like it could be a lot of fun and it allows us to do some narrative tournaments. Now, actually, some narrative scenarios. Now, actually, interestingly, one of the things that Joe has suggested, which I want to talk about briefly first, is which I'm very interested in for downstairs, is asymmetric tournament.
Yeah. So basically, if you are interested in this, super chat and say yes, I would do asymmetric, or no, I would not do asymmetric. Because then you only have to spend like 99p. But if
227 people.
227 people do that, then yeah,
Makes some money.
That is less than a Mars bar.
Less than a Hierophant.
Considerably less than a Hierophant. But if you would like to send me a Hierophant...
Did you see that they went back in stock recently?
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, but I saw one at Warhammer World, and I just stood next to it looking sad, but the shop was basically empty, so it didn't really work.
I had suggested
I just laid on the floor and put it on my head and like pretended that
I had suggested that for your birthday stream on Thursday night, if we get to 500 members, instead of you dressing like a seal that gets clubbed, I will literally there live on air buy you a Hierophant.
I'll take that. Actually, I kind of want to dress like a seal now as well, but I'm not going to do it for free.
In fact, if we do 500 members at any point this week, I'd probably do it for you.
All right, then.
I wanted to do it for you, I just couldn't afford it.
But so for those that don't know, basically you have to remember, when did this come out? The summer?
Yeah, it was chapter proof, so it's June, July time.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get asymmetric, you get weird deployments. You got like a last stand situation, another last stand kind of situation. That's almost like, do you remember Convoy? We have to get from one side to the other. I love that one. We almost you got another one here, which is like a
last stand situation.
Attacker defender situation, a spear point, a Van Dweeb, hilarious. Did you stuff about VG on the weekend?
Let's do that off air.
Yeah. This one, you're in the blockhouse, and attacker defender situation. A flying V formation, like a reverse hot gates. There's like a big, maybe you could put like a big pillar in the middle, and then the other one is Strike Force Crucible of Battle. So, but the other ones are great, right?
Yeah.
And they all have like specific missions. Basically, this one is holding objective in deployment zone, no man's land in opposed deployment zone. If you hold one in your home, it's 2 points. If you hold one in no man's land, it's worth 4, and if it's your opponent's, it's worth 6. That's something quite wordy. End of your command phase. If it's the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each objective marker they control. But obviously, like this one here has got 5 objective markers, but you got one here, one here, one here, one here, and then one right at the top. So they're not always in the easiest places to do it. So like it kind of, when you set the table up, you have to kind of know in advance who is the attacker, who is the defender, and then you have to set your terrain up based on the mission. I think the biggest problem that asymmetric warfare had in the past, and that people didn't really like it and didn't really get on with it, was the idea that people were just setting up a table and then just force cramming in the deployments.
Okay.
Right? Or they go, oh, what terrain layout shall I use? And then they'll go, oh, I'll pick terrain layout, blah blah, right, from the list of ones that they've given for the match play, and then do asymmetric on top of that. It just doesn't work. I think what would have been nice with this one, which I think if they're going to do it in the future, is they go, here is asymmetric terrain layout, much like. Hang on.
The thing is with terrain layouts is I'm so utterly fucking bored of terrain layouts. What happened to the Warhammer that I loved, where you just made a table that looked cool? You just set a scene. Today we're going to build a ruined city. Today we're going to build a jungle board. Today we're going to build a snow-covered outpost.
So I think the biggest problem, and I've said this for many, many years, is that wargamers are devoid of any self-conscious thought. There's a serious lack of imagination going.
I think it's got worse because they've given us everything.
Because we've been spoon-fed terrain now. So this is Age of Sigmar mission card, a battle plan, which has the primary situation going on up here, and then you have deployment, and then obviously where the objectives are, and then they have the terrain laid out. And it specifically says, you must have trees here, you must have ruins here, you must have sites of power here. But they don't say what it has to be. They just go, ruins here, trees here, big-ish magical buildings, use whatever the hell you can get your hands on kind of thing, because we don't sell that terrain. I think Asymmetric should look more like this. Right?
Okay, as in give you something.
They give you a
terrain.
card that has the primary on it, and the deployments, and where the objectives go, but they go, instead of giving you a specific terrain layout, they go, these are the suggested places that we think that you should put a building, or containers, or a wall, or some trees, right? Because when you give someone that's just a deployment and an empty hole, right? And if someone looks at that, they go, I don't know whether this is attack a defender. Is this like a deep strike thing and you're attacking out? What's going on here?
Yeah.
There's no explanation. But if you have a card like that that's got a bit of like rules text on it, a little bit of flavor text going, here, Captain Titus is come to surgically insert himself inside a Necron, you know.
Right, yeah.
Kind of thing. Or
is he not worried about metal splinters?
No, you know, or like, I don't know, here are white scars. Jagatai is going to put a bike up Mortarian's bumhole, right? No splinters, just goo. I imagine he's quite well lubricated, actually. Of all the Primarchs, he's like lubed 24/7.
Chat, we're 2 members away from 25, by the way.
And
2 from 25. That's a quarter of the way there. I believe in you.
So if they go, like, here's the terrain layout. We suggest you put stuff here. This is a defensive situation.
Yeah.
Or this is a drop site, you know.
Do you think part of the problem in 40k in general is the rules around terrain as well, though? Because I remember years gone by where dangerous terrain, difficult terrain, and trees and obscuring, and there was all loads of different. And now it's just everything is just treated the same.
So the reason we're in the terrain situation we are now is for the sake of streamlining. Dangerous terrain, angry trees, you know, difficult terrain.
Pansy routes.
Like, you just have passable wall, impassable wall, which it tends to just be match play. All walls.
Escapade says the issue with 10th has always been the rules.
So, I'm
sidetracking you now, and I'm aware of this, but is 10th a good edition of Warhammer?
It didn't start off it, but I do think it. I think where it is now, excluding Victrix Honor Guard, right? Where it is now, apart from a few niggly bits in terms of units, I think this is the best edition of Warhammer we have.
Chat, I want to know what you think. Right, we've got nearly 250 people in chat right now.
The most amount of fun I'm probably having.
We've got nearly 250 people in chat right now. I want you to, if you think 10th edition is a good edition of Warhammer, on the whole, put a 1 in chat.
Yeah.
If you think it's a bad edition, put a 2 in chat.
So I think, like,
I'm very curious.
I think terrain, getting rid of obscuring was a mistake. Well, obscuring still exists, but as a game system, there are multiple warring factions of events, right? You've got GW, UKTC, ITC, and what was the other one?
WTC?
WTC. And all the different, like, so you've got Games Workshop's terrain layouts, and then a bunch of other people who have then created their own terrain layouts with different terrain rules. And I think it's confusing things. Because Games Workshop's terrain system, so Games Workshop's terrain system is based on, like,
it's interesting in chat, Jay.
Yeah.
There's more 1s than 2s.
Yeah.
but there's a large portion of 2s, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, sometimes I'm aware that with me, you, Tom, Paddy, the group that we get to play with, the people that we get to play with, we sit in our own little like echo chamber, don't we, of individuals, and we talk about Warhammer all the time, and we're really into it. We kind of, dare I say this, we kind of have to make the best of it because it's the job, and we're in a privileged position where that's our biggest kind of challenge. But I often like to sit and think, because we whinge about, there's so many things I don't like now that I would change, and I sometimes wonder, is it because of my nostalgia? Is it because of where I started? Because I fucking hate stratagems. I hate them.
Yeah, I need to explain terrain to people and why terrain's. We have a false perspective of terrain.
Well,
I figured it out. Hang on.
So he's off again. So I fucking hate stratagems. I fucking hate command point rerolls. I fucking hate command points in general. I don't like them. I miss granular points. I miss paying for weapons. I miss force org charts. I don't like leaders joining units. I don't like units only working when a leader's joined a unit. I don't like a leader's ability only working whilst he's joined a unit. I miss fucking templates. I miss armor facings. I miss scatter dice. I just feel like the game it's lost a lot of character. This is a personal opinion, by the way. I'm not stating this as fact. But for me personally, I feel like it's lost a lot of character, a lot of flavour, and it's been streamlined into almost a fancy painted chess. And I don't love that.
This is an example of how. Look
at him, he's getting quite into this now.
How Warhammer Games Workshop's terrain rules are good, but
I don't know.
But they are being broken, and we've not noticed it by homebrew companies.
You miss playing 5th edition. I miss playing 7th edition specifically, before all the formation nonsense. Although I didn't like D weapons and invisibility, but that's by the by.
This guy disappeared off the face of the planet, right? And
yeah, I don't know why.
We don't know why, but what he was doing a good job, right? This here is a piece of terrain that's sold by Games Workshop, right? One of the rare few pieces of terrain that Games Workshop actually sells, right? They sell a wall. This is a U, but normally it's just a normal L, right? But the Games Workshop terrain layout uses these tiles, not these ones specifically. But guess what? They don't sell them. So when Games Workshop gives you a terrain layout, it is a board. It is the table with these all kind of strewn around. And then on that there's like an L or a U shape on it, right? And then that building goes on it, right? Like that. Okay. When you are stood on the bit of wobbly bit, you're in cover. If you're behind the wall, right here, right there, when you're inside this building, you're in cover, but it's true line of sight if you're on this tile, okay? So if you're in the building, you can't be seen, can't be shot, in cover. If you're stood here, on it, in cover, can be seen, true line of sight. If the shooter is here and you're stood here, whole thing obscuring, right? You can't be shot if you're on the other side, okay? We there?
Yeah.
That's Games Workshop's terrain. Super simple, right? If you're on the other side of here, can't be shot. If you're on it, can be shot. If you're behind a wall and they can see you, you can be shot, still in cover. If you're behind a wall, can't be seen, can't be shot. True line of sight. Super simples, right? And we'll talk difference. Some units can't go through. Bikes, vehicles, whatever, unless you've got a rule, okay? This here is ITC, UKTC. You could recognise it by its wooden texture. This might not be noticeable to you because it's painted. Most events just spray paint it or don't, right? Most events run these. There is no base apart from this bit here, okay? And that ruins the terrain rules as made by Games Workshop. Because if you're stood behind it, you can't be seen, can't be shot. But if you're stood here and they're stood there, can be shot. But the area is so much smaller, right? So if this, I've thrown it on the floor. Hang on. So if this was on here, right? Look how much terrain, look how much space you're losing off the table, right? How much terrain you're losing when that goes away, right? So you're like by playing on ITC, you're losing cover, essentially, and that's the problem, right? Games Workshop has to compete again, like has to balance a game that people aren't playing their terrain rules for. Because you're in this game system, you're either behind terrain and obscured, or just in the open.
But I just want to play on fun-looking tables.
Right. So
I don't want symmetry.
I'm not going to go get out this. I've got up too many times. This is the massive piece of terrain. Same situation, right? It's just you're either in it and behind cover or not in cover. So most ITC tables have 2 of these. This is like their attempt at GW, but a really poor one. So what Games Workshop should be doing with asymmetric terrain, where they go, here is a circle, and you go, this circle is made of a square of 4 rectangles. Right, so one like that, one like that, one like that. And it's, right, you deploy inside there. You go, you have 4 things, right? Put whatever the fuck you want on it. Right? So I go, this mission is a defensive mission. So Games Workshop used to sell trenches. People sell 3D printed trenches now. You could put trenches on here. You could put a building on here. You could put a bastion. You could put whatever you want on there. Oil rig, right? And then you have a narrative board then of an oil rig or some trenches, okay? But Games Workshop have said, here's a footprint, put what you want on it. Right, I think that's how asymmetric should be done.
Okay.
Right, so when they go, here is a flying V formation, that should be light terrain because you're moving out of it, and the guys in the green section, this should be heavy terrain. So maybe they color coordinate the terrain pieces. But yeah, that's. I got distracted by terrain then. Sorry.
No, it's interesting.
But I think the argument for saying Games Workshop terrain rules are bad, I feel, is unfair. Because the majority of people that play Warhammer, which Games Workshop's receiving data from, isn't playing it to all of Games Workshop's
I'm not saying they're bad, I'm saying it's dull.
See, I think these are less dull than that.
I'm not debating that point.
So me and Toby have been having...
But then what you require is, I think, to make it look less dull at least. So in terms of rules, I think it's dull. But in terms of to make it look less dull, you have to have people that have these kinds of shapes somehow on the table without them looking awful, because I'm reminded of the World Championship finals that Games Workshop themselves streamed. It looked shit, right?
Yeah.
I hated it. So if you can make it look nice, you then require the people who are building the tables to do interesting things on those tiles. But as you've said, if the tile's the bit that matters, then put what's in there interesting rather than just, so we've got all these tiles, so we can do whatever we want, all else help ruins. And I look at the amount of times I go to a top-down camera on someone else's show or stream or on a War Games live show from an event the weekend, and it's me. I know I'm not saying everyone should think the same as me here. This is just a me problem. But I see symmetrical table and I instantly go, look, it just looks boring to play on.
But they're not playing.
And I see what we're printing downstairs to let people play on in the hobby house. I'm like, that's the shit I want to play on.
That is. Right, we'll exclude the games. We'll exclude Warhammer Worlds, right? But we'll go for the majority. So when you're watching all these tournaments across the world on live streams, and the tables look boring, right? That's not Games Workshop's fault.
No, but you also have to realise, right?
That is a TO's financial decision.
Let me explain it. Let me explain and finish as well, Joe. Right. My issue at this point isn't specifically those events that I'm watching, right? because they're tournaments and they're majors, and people are going there to compete, and they're going there to win ITC points, and that's how they're playing their Warhammer. And I am not gatekeeping. I'm not going, you should be playing it more narratively, you should be having more fun. I think anybody should be able to play their Warhammer however they want to play their Warhammer. And you know what? If you want to spray your models black, paint the shoulder pads, the fucking feet and the gun, and that's it, and call it done, and stick some mud on the base, you fucking crack on and you enjoy it. It's not my place to tell you how you should play your games of Warhammer 40k. Absolutely not. However, what I find is really interesting at the moment is I think there is this weird, there's like a weird disconnect. There's like a weird gap, right? Because what happens is we see these on streams and we see these on the television and we see these at Worlds. And then what happens is you go into people that are playing just a lovely, friendly game of Warhammer and they're trying to build symmetrical terrain layouts and tables. I'm like, but why? Like, you're not playing for tournament points. You're not playing for ITC points. You're not in an event right now. So just do something fucking cool.
So the thing is, though, when you... This is a much larger conversation. So
it is. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole.
When you design a game, right, for people to play, it is easier to design a game where when you design it, the player has as little input as possible in how to play it, because you have to play inside a realm of fixed parameters, right? So when you play Snakes and Ladders, right? Quite,
slippery snake.
Right, with slippery snake. You start right, but no, but it's a board game, right? Right. So when you play Snakes and Ladders, the idea is to get from the start to the end, right? And you have to follow a grid system of like 1 to 100, 1 to 50. You have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going to you, if you land on this square, right? This square. Let's pretend there's no Snakes Ladder. You just randomly appear somewhere else, right? And then you go, and the person's like, "Where is that?" Just random. How do I figure that out?
Yeah.
So to make it easier, they've drawn a squiggly line to another square, and you put it there. So that's the most simplest example of controlled randomness.
Yes.
Right? And then if you land on the ladder, you can go from here to here. It's not random, straight line. So when you design 40k, which has loads of player interaction in terms of where stuff goes, there's no grid system. You can just go wherever you want, but you have a terrain system in it. Players can put terrain anywhere, right? But you can't really. It's difficult to control where people put it, and when people are giving feedback, Games Workshop can't be like, okay, where did you put your terrain? Where were you positioned? Was one person's terrain section lighter than the others? Was all the terrain in the middle of the table?
So do you think perhaps an answer is that terrain should have less impact on how the game is played? And then you can play whatever the fuck you want. Which, to do that, you'd have to make a significant change to how range firepower works.
So basically, if you want terrain to have less of an impact in your game and the game system, you play Age of Sigmar. Because you can pretty much go anywhere in Age of Sigmar, apart from like 4 parts of the table where there's like actual physical pieces of terrain stopping you from going there, but the shooting isn't as prevalent. And shooting has shorter range, less damage. Whereas in 40k, you have entire armies of shooting.
So the answer perhaps is lethality, as promised at the start of 10th, actually probably needs to go down in shooting.
But then if you change lethality in the game system, you change how the game is played entirely.
Of course you do.
Right? To the point where you're basic, because if the game is less lethal, you have to have less stuff on the table. Otherwise, it becomes cluttered and nothing dies, right? Which then scoring becomes a problem. How do you score if nothing's dying and everyone's just kind of clumped on objectives? You know, it needs to be final. Even like games of Old World and Horus Heresy, if you fuck up in combat and you run away, you just leave the table. You need stuff to leave so someone can score stuff. So by having fixed terrain layouts and fixed deployments, Games Workshop has a level of control in terms of how to balance things and how line of sights. Because if you control how much of a board is covered by a large tile and not random, just little walls, you can then determine arcs of fire and then basically go, well, shooting is way too prevalent in this game. Combat's being killed. What do? We can add tiles. We can move tiles. We can make tiles bigger. And then you go, well, actually now combat's too powerful. Shooting's really struggling. What do? We might decrease the size of the square, you know? We might have less squares. And by doing that, it's easier to balance the game state than having to rewrite every single book every single time.
I get it, I understand. It just seems like it makes it less of a sandbox environment.
But the thing is that, but ultimately, when we watch games of Warhammer be played, not by people like us or Titans or Tabletop Tactics, who are like doing more fun narrative, like game experience, right? Entertainment. When you watch like Goonhammer, UKTC, like VT, all that lot, playing competitive games, they're not playing Warhammer, they're playing chess.
Right.
So like realistically, we're saying, well, the chess competitive version of this game is boring, right?
Not to everyone.
Not to everyone, but I think to watch it, right? But then I
actually really...
it's like the same state as like, I cannot stand watching football, right? I don't get it. I like the idea of playing football. Not that I do, but, you know, I'd happily kick a ball around, right? I do not understand people, which I experienced this weekend, sat in a bar screaming at a TV, right? There's a guy who was just losing his shit over every decision from the ref. When the team scored, you know, when the bad team scored, you know, when the baddies scored, right? Or that wasn't a foul, or that was a foul, or that was out, or that was in, you know. I'm like, how does anyone enjoy this, right? But I enjoy watching competitive 40k. It's the same thing, right? But would you want to watch a bunch of really, like, because like there's no such thing as like narrative football, is there?
No, there's friendlies.
There's friendlies, or there's
charity games,
stuff like that. Yeah. But charity games aren't as popular as actual league football.
No. I have to hold my hands up and say that I talk a lot about how some of the rules are too streamlined, it's too chess-like. I really enjoy competitive 40k.
Yeah.
In 10th, I do. I'll hold my hands up and say this. I'm just trying to fight for the other guy because there's a lot of people out there that want to have a more fun sandboxy chilled experience.
So I think
the chess part of when I go to tournaments, when we talk about events and you guys talk about tournaments and stuff like that, dialing in lists and working out how to perfectly optimize your list and how to play it. I really like that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that for us personally as a channel, I don't think it makes the most entertaining content. And I don't think we would do it as well as, say, Art of War. In fact, we definitely won't do it as well as Art of War. They're some of the best in the world. Yeah. So there's no point me trying to compete with Art of War because I can't, because they're better than us at doing it. So they can have their. So we have always pushed the Garage Hammer, Beer Hammer, Enjoy Yourself vibe. But I think for the most part, we do hit that kind of market. But I'm not saying I don't like competitive Warhammer. Yeah. I do like competitive Warhammer. I'm saying I don't want all of my Warhammer to be competitive Warhammer.
But I think competitive 40k can look good.
I think it can look good. I don't think it has looked good.
It hasn't. It doesn't look good because it's cheaper,
right,
to produce the. They're on the floor now. The wood. Yeah. It's cheaper to make the woody things than it is to get the plasticky things, right?
Of course.
And ultimately, if you're a person at home, which you are, unless you're a dog that's watching TV right now, right. If you want to run an event and you go, I want to run a major grand tournament. Right, major DT, right? That's anywhere of 60 players to 100. So let's go. Let's be in the middle, 80, right? I want to run an 80-man tournament. And you go, I don't, own a building for a start to fit 80 people. So I have to find a building that fits 80 people. So you might go and find a hall, right? And you go, cool, I found a hall, you know. I've got a nice deal on borrowing that hall for a weekend. Maybe it's a school. Let's say it's in the school. You know the head teacher, right? You got it in the school. You got the tables there. Great. You got the chairs there.
Little tiny ones.
Tiny ones. But you're starting out, right? And then you go, okay, how do people play Warhammer at a tournament on a mat with terrain? That's 80 people. Start off, you need 40 mats.
And 40 sets of terrain.
40 sets of terrain.
Tired Dad's Club says it's 2 different games, both are valid. The issue is some on both sides look at the other and say it's wrong. That is an issue.
Oh, 100%.
It's a barrier we've tried to break a little bit, but that 100% is an issue.
So then you go, so 40 mats, right? You go, where do I get 40 mats from? So you go to someone like Game Mat or
Urban Mats.
Urban Mats, right? And you go, I found some tables, some mats. They'll do me a cheeky deal, you know. Instead of 60 quid, they'll do them for 45 quid. Right, that's still
40 times 45, Joe.
40 times 45,
which is
a number.
£1,800.
£1,800. Right? Did that without even opening my mouth, right? Plus shipping. So you bet you're spending the best part of £2,000 before you've sold the ticket.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go, well, people need to play Warhammer on those mats, right? So now I need terrain. So you go, we'll have to buy 40 sets of terrain. You could buy a set of this terrain, a full set of the wooden terrain off of eBay for about 50 quid. But obviously, the more you buy, some sellers will do them cheaper. So let's say you get each one for 40 quid, right? 40 times 40.
Yeah.
Is a number.
1,600, Joe.
So, yeah. So that's a number, right? So you've bought your 40 sets of terrain for 1,600 quid. So we're like, let's round it down to a cool $3,000 you've just spent on mats and terrain.
Well, 3.5 strictly, but yeah.
Right? You've got to build 40 sets of terrain, right?
Paint it,
right? Unless you're overly burdened with friends, right? You've got a long couple of months ahead of you of gluing wood terrain together. And then once you've glued it together, you cannot be fucked to paint it.
No. We're about to, Toby's been printing a lot of terrain for downstairs. Yeah. It all looks really, really good. And I said to him, I messaged him and spoke to him on yesterday or the day before. And I was like, Toby, at some point this needs to start getting some paint on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's no good.
And that becomes a problem in itself. Yeah. So then you have to paint all that terrain and you go, well, do I paint it hard or like I've done here, I've put some cork on it, I've put some sand on it, I've painted all the different stuff, you know, like I put some posters on it. And that took me like a week to do that one set, right? You have to spend over a year of painting for a week if you want to get all of those 40 sets to the same level as that.
Yeah.
But you go, I want to do it this year, maybe in like 2-3 months. So then you smash it out and then you go, rattle cans it is. And that's the problem with most tournaments.
Or airbrushes,
right?
Yeah.
Fuck airbrush it. No. Just rattle can. Just stand there, mask on, tear a hole in the ozone layer. So like so you basically it's a tournament like so that's why tournaments just don't look very, very exciting. And the problem is once a TO has got those 40 tables done and they've got them boxed, and then they have to find somewhere to store it, they cannot be fucked to change it. They're like, I'm not doing that again. Whereas if you start small, you can buy decent 3D printed stuff. So I've been talking to Toby, who's been printing some very nice terrain.
Some gorgeous stuff downstairs.
We've agreed that when we do 40k stuff downstairs, we're only going to use the Games Workshop terrain layouts. And by layouts, we mean the tiles, right? He's going to get some fancy tiles made, right? And then what we're going to do when we do the tournament stuff is that we're going to put any terrain on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, we say we're going to use GW terrain layouts. If you phone us up and say you'd like a narrative table layout, we won't use GW
I'm talking about events, right?
Right, of course.
So we're doing a tournament.
Of course.
A tournament, right? We're going to use the tournament terrain layout. But on here might be a fancy villa, a hill, you know?
Yeah.
An orc building.
An effigy to Joe.
An effigy to me, you know? A massive dildo, same thing, right? you know, like a Necron 2. You know, it doesn't matter, right? And it'll be on there, and we'll do the same terrain layout. So you'll be playing competitive 40k, but slightly different because it's not a massive U or L.
Yeah.
Right? But ultimately, you're either behind the terrain or on the terrain, right? And the same thing is you can. So when we do asymmetric warfare, if we do an event that is asymmetric warfare, I will probably preset every table, and that table will be that terrain layout for the entire event. Is my plan, right? So this is the worst example. I don't know why this card is still on top, right? Is you go terrain in the sections, right? So this table 1 is always going to be this mission, right? This setup, and the terrain will be done that. So I will have squares of terrain which fit Games Workshop's terrain rules, which is the squares, right? But it'll be made fancy. It will look nice, you know.
Tired Dad's Club, you'll like this one, Jay.
Yeah.
Narrative games, you also have to deal with the terminal cringe that is someone shouting "Wah."
Fucking God, I hate them with a passion. Do you know what's interesting? No Orc players this weekend. No one shouting "Wah" is bliss.
Yeah.
But the problem with narrative terrain in itself, right? And narrative games, and I love narrative Warhammer, and I love narrative terrain, and I love narrative games, and I love it. I just love Warhammer. The biggest problem to affect narrative Warhammer is 40k players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of people can't keep it in their pants.
Well, there's also a few people who will claim narrative and then bring 18 Victrix.
Technically, that is narrative.
Well,
right?
exactly.
So there is an argument that 18 Victrix Guard with Calgar and Gilliman and Sicarius, because he is the captain of the Victrix Honor Guard, is a narrative army.
Right, exactly.
Right? But
these people will go, "Oh, I'm bringing it because I'm narrative," and what we know they're all doing is bringing it because it's fucking incredible.
I want to win with it. So how do you run the thing is though, when you run a narrative event, you also have to let those people in, because when does it become okay to nitpick over narrative as a TO?
Right, so I think we've had this discussion before,
Yeah.
right? People have said, "Oh, make sure people are only submitting narrative lists." The problem in the sandbox environment that is Warhammer 40k is that narrative is very subjective.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing you can do, is you can set list building instructions. You can set restrictions. And if you set restrictions and you say, actually, normally you can take whatever the fuck you want, but actually for 2,000 points, here's what we're restricting you to. 1 epic hero. Must have a minimum of 3 battle line units. Must have blah, 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 blah. Or you go, what's the other one you played recently? Highlander type thing, right? I think realistically speaking, that's the only way you can legitimize it and do it properly. Because if you start going we'll accept lists that are narrative, and someone writes a list and you go, that's not narrative. Well, it might be to them, and that you can't. There's huge grey areas there.
Like, to keep it in line with the asymmetric, I think the problem is, like, if you want to have that level of Games Workshop releasing a narrative rule set that isn't Crusade, you end up in a situation where it can't just be a deck inside a deck.
But the problem is, and I agree with you. And I don't think Games Workshop should release a narrative version of Warhammer 40k. I don't think it works, because narrative means so many different things to so many different people.
Yeah.
I think the old Eternal War and Maelstrom of War, I think if you added that back into the current match play format, that's pretty much perfect. Yeah. And that's what I would do. I would say, here's 6 Eternal War missions, right? You don't care about secondaries. You're not scoring primaries all turn, but you've just got this thing to do by the end of the game. There's 6 missions. They're not difficult. They've done them for years. They still exist, right? Then you go, here's 3 to 6 Maelstrom of War missions, very similar to before, tweak some of the cards. So rather than you have to cast 2 psychic powers in a psychic phase, because the psychic phase doesn't exist anymore, change those ones out to something else. But if you look at the old Maelstrom decks, for the most part, those cards also still work. And then you also have your match play, your chapter approved mission deck, your Leviathan mission deck, and your Prior Nexus mission deck. And I think if you do that, there will still be people that complain.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can get it because you know what happens when you have Maelstrom, when you're putting objectives wherever the fuck you want them, and you're going, well, that archway makes sense, and this ammo dump makes sense, and those containers make sense. Is you can be more asymmetric with your terrain at that point because it isn't just match play, right? I think if they do that, there will still be people that moan, but for me, that is the absolute middle sweet spot. Because we used to have Maelstrom and we used to have Eternal War, and then ITC made their ITC format, which used to have the old pick your secondaries. You had old school for like Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker, all that kind of stuff. And that was a great time for gaming in Warhammer because you had something that kind of serviced every audience. And then we've kind of dialed it all the way into everyone's just playing match play now.
Yeah.
So I think if you created 6 Eternal, create 6 Maelstrom, you could leave them alone for the whole 3 years.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else. And what they did do is they monetized it by going, well, actually, we've got these, however many different 6 times 6, so 36 different cards that you can achieve in your secondary deck. And actually, when we release the Eldar Codex, guess what? We're going to release a new secondary deck as well, just for you, where 6 of them are specific to your faction.
Yeah. It's.
That's what I would do.
But also, it's like I think ultimately narrative only works if both players understand that they are playing a narrative game, but also you have to have a conversation before you even write your lists, right? And I will take my circle surrounded by a bigger circle, right, as an idea, right? It's a holdout mission, right? You are Chaos Space Marines, right? And you're in the middle and you're holdout and the Imperium's coming, right? And you're playing against guard. And all that happens, right, for a guard player, it's like, well, God, they'd bring basilisks, wouldn't they? They'd bring artillery. They've cornered you, and they're going to bring tanks, right? And then it's just a Space Marine player picking up models as they just get hit by artillery and don't have a very interactive game. At which point, the narrative has to flip, and then the Chaos Space Marine player has to do a breakout mission to get into the stuff. So it's like you have to have a discussion with someone and go, like, I know you've bought guard, but can you not bring artillery? Can you not bring main battle tanks? Because otherwise, the mission's just not going to work.
Unless you're, like you say, unless you're both on the same page and you're prepared to change it throughout.
I think that's the problem the Games Workshop's always going to have with the concept of asymmetric and narrative is that, like, unless they write an actual physical book that tells you what models you can and can't take, you are going to have, because I've seen people complaining about, like, I don't like the secondary mission deck. I think unless those things are there, I think it's going to be a terrible game.
Well, no, I disagree, because Maelstrom was great. It's secondary missions, but not secondary missions.
Well, they were secondary missions.
They weren't secondary. They were your primaries. They were how you got any points.
Yeah. Well, maybe,
so Maelstrom made it work. Even
but
Eternal
they
War
were still hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more.
Not in Maelstrom.
Wasn't there?
No,
that came afterwards, didn't it?
Yeah, Maelstrom was always go and get objective 6. Off you go.
Yeah, but then we'd have to bring back numbered objectives.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with
that. Anyway, I need to jump into chat. I have got a hard stop in 20 minutes because I've got a meeting at 3:30 for Hobby House. So I have to have a hard stop in 20 minutes. That doesn't mean that if we don't get through it, Joe can carry on the show on his own. It'll be the Joe and Joe show.
I'm going to go and build Centurions.
Which means, considering we're currently on 44 members, chat, if all 225 of you gift one right now, you'll keep him sat here just reading your names out. If you give 5, you'll get hopes from him as well. And it'll pile on the bottom.
I do need a wee as well, so.
Do you want to go now?
I'm going to go now.
Do you go now before we jump into the chat?
so much today.
Yeah. And that way, you can keep him here whilst I'm downstairs on my meeting. And it'd be funny, wouldn't it? I think it'd be funny. But we're on 44 of the finest members, chat. So we're 56 away from target. We're 1 away from 45, 6 away from 50, and halfway. Arguably, we're 25 away from 69. The Sojo show. Exactly that. It's an interesting chat. It's not the direction I thought we were going today, but I do miss that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that bringing some asymmetrical stuff to the channel in the new year could be a way of kind of having some more Garage Hammery kind of fun, stupid games, rather than everything being hyper kind of competitive the whole time. Sheep, thank you for the 1 gifted. You're a legend. That got us to 45. I will obviously read all these gifteds out very, very shortly. I'm just going to have to race through some of this stuff because I've got my meeting at 3:30. But I was trying to get to the chat about 10 minutes ago, but he was on it about terrain, and I don't want to stop him when he's on it because I often think Joe makes some good points because he knows his game better than he lets on. just can't seem to put it to practice on the table, right? With asymmetrical games, as long as you know the mission going into army building, and if you're attacker defender, then it's all good. Interesting. You feel better?
Yeah. Hope he never put those neck-ons away.
No. Lazy fuck, isn't he?
He's worse than Paddy.
Mind you, when I came in here on Sunday, I think it was, to do the football show, there was a yoghurt pot sat on the side with a spoon in it.
You know who that is.
Some dirty cans everywhere. Just thrown out there. Those in glass houses.
I don't eat yogurt.
No, the yogurt pot's not you. No.
That's always there every time.
Yep. Rum o'clock, thank you for the $5. Joe, would you rather good rule Seth back forever and never eat pigs in blankets again, or unlimited pigs in blankets and never get Seth back?
Seth.
Over pigs in blankets?
Well,
I fucking love a pig in blanket.
You can still eat sausage and bacon.
Not together, though.
Well, they can't be on the same plate.
They can be on the same plate, you just can't touch.
Can't touch. That's fine. I was once accused. I say once. This happens all the time of being like a really
nonce.
No,
oh,
like a real savage of an eater. Right, of
you weren't once accused of that.
It was like I was eating like a fried breakfast. I'd be like sausage, bacon, just eat each individual.
Oh no!
Section.
You have to have a bit of sausage, bit of bacon, bit of egg, bit of beans, bit of black pudding, bit of fried bread.
All have a big mush
on one fork. Oh, fucking banging!
I'm like sausage, nom 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 nom. Bacon, nom 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 nom.
I haven't had a good fry up in a very long time.
There's a greasy spoon in Shaftesbury where I live that does a great one, but I hate eating. There's two reasons why I don't like going there sometimes. A, they don't have Heinz ketchup. They have that shit off-brand stuff that comes from like Booker's or whatever it is, which is just red vinegar. It's horrible. So I take my own ketchup. All right. The other one is that it's a Greasy Spoon cafe, but I feel at some point in its history and time, it was like the decor inside is like a fake American mine.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're inside a cave, like the ceilings are like paper mache rocky. But all the booths are like fixed bench, fixed table, right? So you can't slide backwards. Every bench and table is designed for hobbits, right? You could fit 2 children on those chairs or one incredibly thin adult. Every single adult that sat there has literally got the table like hard pressed into their stomach.
Oh, I need a greasy breakfast.
The food is great.
I'm trying to eat healthier and go to the gym more, and now I just really want to eat a greasy breakfast. Thank you, Big Bad Peter Gamer, for the 1 gifted. Thank you, Stefan, for the 1 gifted. You legends. Thank you, Narek, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Narek. I hope that you get, when you're sleeping, a lizard licks you on the brain by putting its long tongue through your ear, and it gives you the ability to endure cold temperatures. It basically choose whether to be warm or cold-blooded.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
really cool, isn't it? Thank you, Onyx, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Onyx. I hope that you rescue a frog from a drying up puddle.
Oh.
Gives you the ability to jump really far.
Love it. I love how you have an interaction with an animal and it gives you an ability. I'm a fan of that. Lacuna, thank you for the $5. I can't normally catch this live. Yay for a day off. However, still waiting for my Joe hope to come true. Plastic Democarian soon? ? He would also like a plastic Democarian.
I'd kill a man for a plastic Democarian. We've got that absolute mishmash of the non-emissary.
Yeah, the confused bug.
It's just like, it doesn't know what it wants to be.
No, quite.
Yeah.
Sol, thank you for the 10 Canadian. I would love to see a map campaign. My favourite tournament game was my Genes to the Cults in an Emperor's Children player who also mained Genes to the Cults. I was capital F fucked, but he was a super nice guy and coached me a ton after the game. That's some of my I've played a few people who are just better than me. And one of my favourite games I played was against a guy called Ben Jones, who you know, and one of my best mates, Lee, knows him very, very well as well. And I played him at Factorum, And he's one of the best players I've ever seen play Warhammer. He's fucking insanely good.
Well, he's a top 10 player, isn't he?
He's just
In the world.
incredible.
One of the best players in the world.
He's just incredible at the game. And there was no way I was ever going to beat him, but I don't like to walk to a table and give up. I want to try and give him the best game I can. And throughout that game, there was things that he was like, if you do this instead of this, this is what this does. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And just learning about how he looked at the table and how he's looking at what you're doing was fascinating. And he helped me finish a game significantly closer in points to him than I probably should have been.
Yeah.
But I came away from that having learnt loads. And, you know, I'm a man who plays Warhammer for a fucking living, and I came away having learnt loads. You can always learn stuff, and I love those kinds of interactions.
Yeah, I do like the idea, like, if we run a narrative, when we run narrative events downstairs, like I said, like, I want to fix the tables to a specific mission. I need to figure out how I make that work. But then ultimately, that narrative weekend influences an overall
that'd be cool.
Galaxy map. Or
that'd be super cool. I'd be really into that.
Yeah.
Prentice, thank you for the $5. Can't wait to see Joe's favourite models on stream. Those sexy Centurions he's got. He wasn't swearing about them. He actually said they went together quite nicely.
They went together all right, actually. Way better than I thought. They just don't look good. I was like, what I find interesting is that obviously, like most Space Marine models, their legs are locked into a specific pose. There's not much variety in them. It does seem that the only variety in that model posing is a weird 45-degree front turn.
I hate them so much.
So bad. But
I hate them. I've never liked Centurions.
But they have come at a time where they are actually potentially useful. Maybe I'll get 6. Basically, the future is unknown for Centurions, really. Right?
I can't see them not going to Legends.
The firstborn Space Marines.
Gotta go Legends.
But
gotta go Legends.
But did you see the trailer for Total War?
No, I haven't yet. No, I've heard about it. I've not seen it. I'm excited for Total War Warhammer.
Right, that's a conversation in itself as well. Total War. But in it are Predators and Land Raiders.
See, the Land Raider is about the only thing I'd keep.
So
I'd fuck everything else off the Legends.
If you're keeping the Predator and the Land Raider, are you keeping the Vindicator?
We'd assume so.
Like, what's going on?
It would upset a lot of people.
I will try and use these Centurions at least once a month until the new edition.
Cool. Thank you, Evan, for the 1 gifted. Thank you, Edward, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Edward. I hope that that you befriend a rabbit and you can just machine gun babies out like a rabbit.
I'm glad you said out. I think we just machine gun babies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bear Strike, for the $5. You're a legend. Blunderdome. Blunderdome. Opponent makes each other's list. Make it as bad as possible while still legal. Bonus points for transports that have no inhabitants. I love that kind of idea.
Just die immediately.
Yeah. That's a video idea. That's cool as shit. I'd love to see you and Tom screw each other over. It'd be hilarious. Stefan, thank you. I'm actually quite into that as a concept for a stream. There's content there.
I'd do it to Paddy.
Yeah?
In a heartbeat.
If I can get him in here for a lunchtime stream, so the Liam and Joe show is you two building the lists, and then the game is you two playing each other with those lists, that'd be great.
I should build him a Tyranid list, and he should build me like a Tau list or something.
I'm here for it. I love it. Stefan, thank you for the $5. Narrative asymmetric with max Centurion spam to make Joe incredibly happy. They've got this thing that you really hate Centurions.
I don't hate the unit. I just hate the models. I just think they are just god awful. The thing about Centurions is they're a model that was shit when it was released, and it still continued to be shit.
They look shit. Well, they look shit when they dropped, and all they've done is kick out nice model after nice model after nice model. So they just look shitter now.
But also, they've always been good. Which is better. Like, Centurions have never gone out of fashion since they were released, right? Which is wild because those shit t-shirt launchers were great, turbo broken, then fell off the face of the planet for a while.
Yeah, I actually don't hate those models.
And then there was a brief period of time the start of the year around Beachhead last year where people realised that the top floor of competitive terrain had a there was a top floor, so you could get plunging fire with them, and all tournaments basically removed the plunging fire, and they were gone.
Thank you, Ramsey, for the $10. He says, I would love to see everyone on the staff make the best list they can and everyone roulette to see who plays what list and do like 6 or 7 rounds of that. So you make the best you can, but that you don't necessarily get to play with it. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. I was thinking about all the stuff like doing lists and stuff. We were talking about team tournament. We were saying that downstairs you could have 4 teams of 4.
We can do a 4-team of 4 tournament downstairs, yeah.
So I like the idea where like, so if there's 4 teams of 4, all teams play each other over 3 rounds, correct?
No, you need 3 rounds, yeah.
Yeah, over 3 rounds. So we could do like special events where it's like challenge the team. So it'd be like me, you, Tom, Paddy.
Yeah.
Right? We all round it, and then people just come and we play 3 games a day, you know, and then we could have like a Top Gear scoring chart, right? About how they've scored versus the team plus versus each other. So you have to bring a team. We run like one of those a month.
Love it.
Because it doesn't have to be on a weekend, right?
Yeah, love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea. Mike, thank you for the $5. I'm fat and happy with the show. Keep up the once a month AOS and maybe add a Heresy Day or a Spearhead Day just to scratch an itch. Fire Slayers. I started watching The Hobbit over my sickness.
Yeah.
I watched the 3 Lord of the Rings films. When I say I watched, I put them on as my comfort background watching because I can fall asleep, wake up, fall asleep, wake up, and it doesn't matter where I am in the film because I know them so well. And then after that, I started binging The Hobbit again. I fucking love dwarfs, Joe. I'm so upset that you hate Fire Slayers so much. I love
but
dwarfs.
they're the only dwarf I'm against.
Yeah, fair.
All other dwarves are great.
I nearly plucked up the energy to walk into my garage and get my Chaos Dwarf box back out.
I'm listening to. I should go through Got Dragon Felix. I've got a real gripe with Got Dragon Felix at the moment. Is they're all insert name Slayer. So like Vermin Slayer, Human Slayer, Elf Slayer, you know, Troll Slayer, Dragon Slayer. And the new one's got Dragon Felix, Road of Skulls. I'm like, oh. But anyway, they got Chaos Dwarfs in that, and they're kind of cool. But I don't like the Chaos Dwarf models. But like, I just want that classic Slayer army because he's in the castle of the Slayer dwarfs. You know, got Ungrim Iron Fist there. So all these great Slayers just rocking around, killing all these Chaos guys. I'm like, why Fire Slayer so poo?
I fucking love them. Anyway, thank you, Pritters, for 5 gifted memberships. We're on 65 right now, chat. We are 7 sets of 5 away from hitting a target. Just saying. Pritters give us 5.
I hope that you get bitten by a bat. And through that, you gain the ability to scream and create a sonar to hear in the dark.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you also for the $5, Pritters, who says, would love to see Crusade missions without the admin, White Dwarf missions, custom missions, etc. to give some variety. A lot of people said that, Crusade missions, but not actually playing Crusade. We should look into it in the new year, Jay. I'm not against it. He also said, can't wait for Joe to do pre-recorded content, pure goldmine. That's when you sat with 18 pieces of terrain on your lap. And your little like rectangle nonsense.
Oh, but that requires a whiteboard and a lab coat, I think.
Yes. I will get a whiteboard on wheels and a lab coat for you to do pre-recorded content about that in front of that fireplace. 100%. Yeah. Cray, thank you for 20 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Cray. That'd be a good one, I suppose, isn't it?
For 20? Yeah.
I hope that you're bitten by a tuna fish and you gain the ability to swim underwater.
Love it.
But also breathe underwater because you could probably swim underwater now, I imagine.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Evan, thank you for the $5. As a novice and casual player, I appreciate the explanation and the comparison. Cheers, gents. Again, talking about your terrain stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which is good. You know, and it's important because sometimes we sound like blithering idiots sat here, but most of the time we know what we're talking about to a point.
I could do probably like a good solid terrain rant for like an hour. Like, I want a wheel. If I'm getting a whiteboard, I want it to be on wheels. I don't want to hold a whiteboard.
Of course.
I want one
One of them big where you can flip it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm 100%. And a lab coat and some fake glasses to sit on your under your nose. Professor Joe. I'm
Can I
here
get a
for it.
projector as well?
No, you don't push your luck.
But like an old school one, you know, the one where you have to like
Yeah.
no, not even that one. Like it's just a box with a light and a mirror, and you put the pieces of paper on it, and the teacher used to like write on the see-through bits of stuff.
Cool.
That's what I want.
Sheep, thank you for the $10. Did a 40k 6,000 versus 9,000 point game last Sunday. Made a custom rule that basically had gradually reduced night fighting, starting at 18, moving up to 72 inches in turn 4. This was to avoid having to deal with terrain. Mind you, I don't think 6,000 versus 9,000 is just normal. So
I also think like the game the game itself doesn't have a terrain problem. I think the community has a problem with terrain because if you're on a limited income, right, most people tend to only own 1, maybe 2 armies, right? And then when they go, you got to play the game now, spend £300 on terrain, people are like, I'll just go somewhere else and do it.
yeah.
And the problem is then, because we're all relying on different people to turn up, some people don't have great terrain collections. So that's why this wooden stuff that you buy off eBay for like 50 quid, 40 quid is so popular because it's so easy to get hold of.
It is, yeah.
Right? And I think like the hobby aspect of terrain, I think is like it's like a skill that's atrophying in our community because people just don't have the time or the finances or even the space.
I think all three.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
I
agree. I do. Liam and Russ, thank you for the $10. I would like to see more of Uwu Toby and Joe playing because it was absolutely amazing to watch their 40k game. And congratulations, Joe, on making it in the cabinet at Warhammer World.
Thank you.
For your best painted
They
army.
let me out eventually.
Did they? Yeah.
Oh yeah, my arm. I knew I wasn't going to win, but it's been like 12, 13 years since I last got nominated to put my army in the cabinet. But I wasn't going to win because the painting this weekend, the levels of in the cabinet was fucking phenomenal. But I'm gonna take when I've got the time, I'm gonna take the Emperor's Children home and basically, or take a unit home a week, and I just work on it. You know, like add more highlights, do extra washes and stuff, just to bring it up to a really nice parade level army. That's
quite a nice work. Yeah. I think that's something I need to learn to do. Get it painted to a basic standard and then have the ability to take it home and go in there and add to it later.
Because what I'm going to do, what I might end up doing is like replacing some of the character models I've got there.
Yeah.
So they're quite basic, like where they're like the normal model. So like in my car, I've got the Emperor's Children Tartarus Terminator Lord from Heresy. And I've got the noise marine bit. The Lord Cacophonist bit. So I'm going to convert him into a Lord Cacophonist because the Lord Cacophonist has a 2-up armor saver, 4-up invalid toughness 5. He's just a Terminator.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Alpha Omega, thank you for the 1 gifted. Sheep, thank you for the 1 gifted. And then Rossonero, thank you for 20 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope, Rossonero, that that you are befriended by a rat, which means that you could live solely on cheese for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I need now. I'd like cheese quite a lot, actually.
I fucking love cheese.
What I need right now, chat, is I need a swathe of 5 gifters to come through so we hit our target and you keep Joe busy whilst I go upstairs to my meeting.
Because we've got to the time of year now where me and my partner were talking about this earlier today, actually, where like we're at a time of year, you know, when you like, because obviously you travel around, there's a lot of Sunday roast style Christmas roast style meals going on this time of year, isn't there?
Yeah.
And you go and visit family, so it's not uncommon for us to go home and just to have cheese and crackers for dinner. You know, it's just a light cheese and cracker meal. So you just sat there, just
beautiful
eating cheese, and I'm just like, it's the best time of year. I've got a couple of trays of them at home, and I've eaten more than I should because every time. So they, I didn't get any at Lidl. I might go for a walk in a bit. They sell these little trays of like tiny little. They're called appetizers. They're little cheeses, little soft cheeses with like different herbs. It's like eating a little tiny pizza, but it's just a bit of cheese, right? But the problem is every time I open the fridge, I'm like, tiny cheese.
Tiny cheese.
Sometimes I'm like, tiny cheese. pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sometimes I go pickle, tiny cheese on pickle, and then eat it. Or if
He's literally talking himself into having to finish the show on his
my
own.
partner's like, she's made pizza, there'll be like pepperoni or sliced meats in there. And I'm like, sliced meat, cheese, wrap up, eat. Diet's going well.
Yeah. I was going to say that. Carl, thank you for the $10. Not going to be on much this week. My wife has a friend down New South Wales. Just wanted to say, love you guys, love the channel on Discord. You help me get through tough days. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's kind of part of why I do all this and why we try and make people laugh and smile. Love you, Carl. You've been around for ages. You're a fucking hero.
And get some tiny cheeses.
Get some tiny cheeses, yeah. And then Mindset, thank you for the $10. He says, Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Hope you have a wonderful Christmas. We've got 2 sets of 5 gifted. Thank you, Luke Piewalker, for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you have an owl live with you and you gain the ability to turn your head like 360.
The owls can't turn them 360.
They can go all around. They have to go back
And they
eventually.
270 degrees.
Oh.
Just like me.
Well, I hope you're better than an owl. Right? And half a job, owls, really, aren't they? But like,
well, strictly 3/4 because
Yeah.
it's 270, 360 J.
and you can communicate through only going to its or to woos, right? Because to it to woo is 2 owls, isn't it?
Correct, yes,
Communicating.
correct. Well done.
Yeah.
Tawny owl specifically.
Really boring conversation. It's more like
What,
Marco.
the owls.
Yeah, it's like Marco Polo, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then thank you, Michael, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Michael. I hope that you are bitten by a seagull and you gain the ability to fire your poo great distances and hit people with it.
Oh, that's quite the skill.
And also live solely on chips.
This means we've only got to get 125 tonight now, Jay.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Challenge for you and Tom. 125 members. Let's go.
Yeah.
You lot have been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm going to have to fly. I've got a meeting in less than 2 minutes, and I have to go and get ready for it downstairs.
I've got Centurions to build.
Joe's got some Centurions to build. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've enjoyed the conversation. If you've got any comments on the conversation, stick it in the comment section after the show is finished. I do read them all, and it helps the algorithm. So thank you so much, you wonderful human beings. Thank you for 125 likes. Liking is free. If you haven't done that already, smash that like button for us because it's super helpful. That also helps the algorithm. And I need to get the channel back on track after half a week's worth of sickness. But it was just because Joe wasn't here and I couldn't stand not being in. So
I get it.
I couldn't stand
I get it.
being in without Joe. You know what I mean? You're all amazing human beings. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed the show. We have got a live game tonight at 7:30 where Joe is going to be bringing the brand new Night Lords detachment from Grotmus Not Grotmus.
Yeah.
So you can check it out at 7:30. We've got the Warhammer show tomorrow night at 7:30. We've got another Liam and Joe show 13:30 on Thursday, followed by his birthday stream in the evening because Joe will be a mighty 38 years old on Thursday. Yeah. And then, on Friday, it's After Dark at 9 p.m. You're amazing humans. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, one more time.